We're back for the MLB Nation Bullpen Chatter podcast. It's Friday, October the 4th. I'm here with my buddy Luke Jett. Luke, how you doing?
Pretty good, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm doing great. On today's show, we're going to preview today's games. You got Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Well, actually, just everybody's playing. And we're going to go break down each game from Pittsburgh and St. Louis to Dodgers, Braves, Rays, Red Sox, and Tigers, Athletics. Let's kick it off with the National League game. It's Game 2 in St. Louis between the Pirates and the Cardinals. Garrett Cole, in his first year, will oppose Lance Lynn, who has been there before. And we saw on Wednesday in the AL wildcard game, we saw Danny Salazar making only his 11th big league start and coming in a huge playoff game. Same could be said for Garrett Cole. This will be his 20th start, 19th start in the big leagues, and he's already getting a playoff game. Luke, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you gotta ride your pitchers. I mean, he's been there all year for him, and he's pitched well in his rookie year. And his turn, if it's his turn in the rotation, then he's got to be ready to step up and take the ball.
What do you think about Lance Lynn? It hasn't been the best year for him, but he's pitched well in September. What can we expect from him?
Lance is a horse. I mean, you basically know what you're going to get with him. He's going to be there. He's going to keep the Cardinals in the game, and I think he'll pitch. I think he'll pitch well.
Now, with Lance Lynn, a lot of the time it's about you can tell that he gets rattled. He's a big guy. It depends a lot on his confidence. Now he wears his emotions on his shoulder or on his sleeve, and he's just as you said, he's a horse. And he's going to go out there, he's going to give you everything he's got, but sometimes everything he's got is, not what you're looking for. And Mike Matheny is going to have to know, he says, as much as he may like Lance Lynn, as much as Lance Lynn may do for him, he's going to give you a chance to win. But in these games, just giving you a chance to win is sometimes not enough.
Yep. I mean, even just to keep the Cardinals in the game, the Cardinals still got to hit. I mean, they got to score runs on Cole, and that's going to be a tough enough job as it is. So I think it'll be a great pitching matchup. And for anybody in St. Louis, I'll be at this game. So if you want to come stop by and say hi, it's more than welcome.
Guys, Luke is literally just directing that thing you just said to the women. If any of you are out there, you'll see the good-looking guy. That's who it is. That'll be Luke.
Yeah, I'll be wearing the Pirates gear.
Moving on from, as you said, a good pitching matchup to an even better one that we'll see in Atlanta between Zach Greinke and Mike Minor. And I'll kick this off. Well, let's go from the Braves' perspective. They're throwing out Mike Minor in Game 2. There's been a lot of speculation as to why Gonzalez, and also there's been speculation as to why Don Mattingly is giving the ball to Zach Greinke in Game 2. But Mike Minor getting the ball at home, and you don't usually think about a guy struggling at home as good as Mike Minor is, but his home road splits are pretty significant. And, Julio Teheran's got a 3.04 ERA at home this year. Luke, do you think that Freddie Gonzalez's mindset was Mike Minor may be the better pitcher, he's got more experience, or do you think he's had anything to do with the home road splits even came into his mind?
I don't think you can look at those splits in the postseason. I mean, the postseason's a totally different animal, and I think Minor probably in Gonzalez's mind is more equipped, ready to go for this start rather than Teheran. They set the matchup up for Game 3 with the two rookies and Rue too. So I mean, I think it'll be a good game. I mean, Greinke's going to throw what a Zach Greinke game is. And this will be probably a low-scoring game. That's what I think.
Zach Greinke, and this is what I heard this point made by Mitch Williams on MLB Network the other day. If you're Don Mattingly and you've got Kershaw going Game 1, and then you could go Rue Game 2, you're really hard on the Braves lineup. I mean, you got their key to their lineup is McCann, you got Freeman, and you got Hayward. And you got two lefties going at them back to back. They're in trouble. They really are. And then you could come in and have Greinke close it out in Game 3. there's one way to look at it, but I highly doubt Don Mattingly looked at it that way. I mean, Zachary, he's been amazing this year. And Rue has not been a slouch either, so, I mean, you could go either way. But, I mean, what do you think about that? Going two guys back-to-back hurting the Braves left-handed hitters.
Yeah, that would be really tough, especially the season Freeman's had. I mean, he's definitely an MVP candidate, and he's been carrying that offense. And I think that'd be interesting if Mattingly actually went lefty-lefty, especially both of them on the road, to see how they'd fare. And then, the Dodgers' rotation is probably the best in the playoffs right now, if I would say that. And pretty much anybody Mattingly puts out there, they're going to give him a chance to win.
Another note about Greinke is ERA is over a run lower at home than it is on the road. But, Mattingly's mind has been made up, and, that he makes the decisions and we just talk about them.
Yep.
But we'll move on to the American League now, where it'll be two southpaws squaring off in Boston. It'll be Matt Moore and John Lester in Game 1 of the ALDS in that series. The Rays are coming in red hot. People may define red hot differently, as red hot could be they're on a long streak of winning, but they just come off two must-win games, and they won them both. They won them both pretty handily. Great pitching from David Price against Texas, and great pitching from Alex Cobb against Cleveland. Could we see the same from Matt Moore on Friday?
Oh, without a doubt. I would not be surprised to the least bit if Tampa went in and won Game 1. I mean, they've been on a roll. They've had to win to stay in. And, I mean, they're used to playing at Fenway Park. I don't think Moore is going to be shaken up with that Fenway crowd. I mean, he's pitched there in the past, and I would not be surprised if the Rays went in there and stole a game in Boston.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Matt Moore threw a complete game, like 2-hit shutout earlier in Boston this year. And John Lester going at home, I think he's much more comfortable there than he is on the road. But, I mean, and this is what's interesting, is John Farrell opted to go with Lester in Game 1 over Buchholz, over Lackey. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, Lester's your quote-unquote ace, in my opinion. I think Farrell went with this horse, and Lester's been there before. He's pitched in the postseason before, and I think I'd probably give the ball to Lester too.
Why not Buchholz after the season he had?
I just think, maybe he was looking at the splits more. I don't know, but I think just Lester's postseason experience overmatches Buchholz's.
Yeah, I can understand that. Matt, back to the Rays side, I mean, they're coming in, as I said, red hot. Joe Madden is going to go with Matt Moore in this game. And as we looking ahead to Game 2, who are they going to give the ball to if Chris Archer isn't? This is one thing I know it's kind of, a hypothetical, but if Chris Archer in his first start in the postseason doesn't do too hot, who are they going to bring in for a long relief? Because, is it going to be Carmona or Roberto Hernandez? Excuse me. It seemed to me like they have a lot of, they can't rely on games like they got from Price, like they got from Cobb, what they could get from Matt Moore on Friday. They can't rely on that the whole time. Chris Archer's going to come into his first start in Fenway for the postseason. I mean, are the Rays in trouble if they don't get starts like they got from Price and Cobb?
Well, I don't really think so. I mean, Price and Cobb were magnificent. Both of them were. So, I mean, if Archer and Moore give up 3-4 runs, I think the Rays are talented enough on offense which has been different case over the last few years because their offense was not up to par the last few times they've been in the postseason. But this year, different team. I think Longoria's hitting really well. Will Myers in the middle of that lineup. I think they can win a shootout game. They can win an 8-7, 10-9 game.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Their offense is much, much better than it has been in the past. And it seems like it's against the Rays' whole idea, but they aren't as much focused on getting the walks and the on-base anymore. I mean, Ben Zobrist led this team in on-base percentage up to 54. I mean, that's nothing to write home about. But they're trying to get a little more thump in their lineup, a little more ability to score runs, and not have to rely, as I said earlier, on the games from David Price and Alex Cobb like we saw earlier this week. Let's shift our focus now to Game 1.
Oh, Brandon, did you want to do your predictions for this series?
Oh, yeah. It's a toss-up who I'd go with in this series. It's hard to pick against Boston, who's got home field advantage, as talented as a team they are this year. But at the same time, it's hard to pick against the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
It is. As soon as you do that, you'll know they'll come back and prove you wrong. But I think I've got to go with Boston. I think I do. I think I'll take them. You know what? Scratch that. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with the Rays.
Interesting.
I'll take the Rays.
Interesting.
As I'm thinking about that, I'm just like, I just can't pick against the Rays because as soon, they will find any way to win they possibly can. I'll give you an example. You go back to the wild card game. We got Delman Young, who was a cast-off from the Phillies, hitting a home run for him. Desmond Jennings, who can't even walk right now. He's hobbling around out there. Came up with a big hit. Alex Cobb, who was hitting the head earlier this year, comes in and pitches a drum. They just find ways to win. There could be a situation where some guy you've never heard of steps up and gets a start for an injured guy on Tampa, and he'll go out and throw 7 innings of shutout ball.
Yeah.
You just can't pick the Rays. I'll take them in 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with the Red Sox in 5, but it would not surprise me at all if the Rays won at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series. If they don't like each other, it's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
We'll shift our focus now to Oakland, where the second straight year the Tigers will take on the A's. And for Game 1, it's 2 AL Cy Young Award candidates. Max Scherzer goes for Detroit, and Bartolo Colon, big fat Bartolo Colon, will go for the A's. What do you think about this game?
It's gonna be a fantastic pitching matchup. If you have a chance to watch it, it's probably one of the best lined up in this postseason so far. But the Coliseum's gonna be rocking. I think Cologne's gonna feed off that, and it's gonna be tough for Scherzer in there.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but here's one thing I'm concerned about. In my opinion, nobody turns on a fastball better in baseball than Miguel Cabrera. All right?
Yep.
Nobody threw more fastballs as a starter than Bartolo Colon.
Mm-hmm.
Does that bode well for the A's and Colon?
Well, it depends how healthy Miguel Cabrera is, I guess. Leland came out and said that he's definitely not 100%, but it's amazing to just see him that hurt still go out and play every day. That's just incredible.
A 75% Miguel Cabrera is still hitting third on every team in baseball.
Agreed.
He's still the best hitter on the planet, and from Colon's perspective, when was the last time he pitched in the postseason? He was suspended last year.
Was it? Who was he with? Was it?
Maybe the Yankees. I don't know.
I can't remember. It wasn't. Was it with the Angels?
That may have been, but that just shows how long it's been since we've seen Bartolo Colon in a postseason game. And for Scherzer, he's hungry. He wants to prove that he deserved that Game 1 start over Verlander. So I think I actually might go with Detroit in this one.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I'm going to go with Oakland. There's something about that team that I just love. Josh Donaldson coming out has a better WAR than Miguel Cabrera. Josh Donaldson. Yeah. And a former Cubs farmhand, of course, just ruining the entire playoffs, all ex-Cubs, but regardless. I think that team's just got something about him. I would not be surprised if they beat the Tigers and win all the way to the World Series.
Do they?
I think they do. I'm picking the A's. I'm picking the A's.
Wow. So we can put you on record now. And remember this for the people at home. You are going with the A's in the World Series.
Yep, Moneyball.
Wow, that's awesome.
I better be in Moneyball too now.
At the beginning of the year, I predicted the Tigers. I said to win the World Series. And here was my reasoning. It was simple. They went to the World Series last year and just got Corey Hunter and Victor Martinez. They just added them. They didn't lose anything. I mean, how can that pitching? The pitching should be good enough to hold down the so-so bullpen. Look at the offense. You have Omar Fonte hit last. Omar Fonte is a 300 hitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a hard time picking against Detroit in any situation. You know, I'm quoting Mitch Williams twice in one show. That's weird. But he said the other day, remember Movie Network, he said, who am I picking for the World Series? Is the favorite is the Detroit Red Sox. I mean, it's hard to toss up between which one of those teams you're going to go with. You know, you could go with Boston, you could go with Detroit, but that's how hard of a toss-up it is. But I think in this series and in the American League, I'll take Detroit to go all the way to the World Series, and I still think they win it.
All right, so who's the National League team coming out?
I don't know. That's tough. You know, you can't. As the same as the Rays, you just can't ever count out St. Louis and anything. You know, they're always there. You know, I'd have a hard time picking Pittsburgh. So, yeah, but the Cardinals aren't the same Cardinals. You know, the pitching staff is great early in the rotation, and then it tips off a little bit.
Yep.
The bullpen is not the same, really. And the offense the same. You know, there's no Alan Craig in the DS. You know, it's a lot of Matt Adams.
Mm-hmm.
He can't hit left-handed pitching, even though Pittsburgh. If he has to face Liriano, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's Atlanta. And I grew up a Braves fan, but I mean, they just don't seem to do well in these kind of situations.
Yeah.
So I think I might go with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I might. Yeah. I think I will. I'll take the Dodgers to go to the World Series.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would not argue with that. And you know what? It probably will be the Cardinals that come out, but I'll stick with the Dodgers. So you've got in the books, you've got Oakland and St. Louis in the World Series, and I've got the Tigers and the Dodgers.
Yep.
So we'll keep track of that. We'll keep you guys posted on that throughout the playoffs. That was a good show. We previewed every game for Friday. We gave our own postseason predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, good job, buddy, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Peace out.